Alright, so today I have a 2005 Excursion. I haven't seen anybody on YouTube do a video yet on how to pull a cab on Excursions. It's a little bit different than a pickup truck. Pickup truck, you only have a couple cab bolts. These actually have like 12 cab bolts on them. So we're going to go through and show you where all the cab bolts are, how to get to them, and how to remove them, as well as pull the cab on this Excursion. It's kind of similar to the pickup truck in the front. The rear is a whole different story. So I want to make sure that you guys don't miss anything and make sure you guys get all the wire harnesses and stuff like that. So I'll go through all the stuff on this and we'll get started and make sure you guys do it right. Okay, so first, in order to get this carpet pulled up, we got to take care of these 4 tie downs. Most of these Excursions, all the Excursions really have them. So take a 30, I hope that one's not screwed up. Take a 30 Torx. And just pop these out. Just like that. And you gotta do all 4 of these. So there's one here, one right here, and one right here, and we just took out that one. So we'll get these all taken out, and then we'll pop up the carpet. Alright, next, you take this plastic here, and just pop this up. Get rid of that. And then you take your carpet, and you can just slide this right up. This one also pops off here. Okay. Now you have full access to all the bolts under this carpet. Okay. So you got one grommet here. Nice. Whoever did this at the factory left a tie in it. There's one here. Okay, there's another bolt straight down. Now this carpet, you should be able to just slide it out. Back. And then you got access to all the other ones on the other side. So we're just gonna pull all those out and take all those bolts out. You have 24 on one side and 22, I think, on the other side. So we're going to pull all those cab bolts out, and then we're going to get to the back seat. Okay, next. Some of these Excursions have a 2 captain's chairs in the back. Others have a bench. What you need to do is on the passenger side, slide the seat forward, remove the 2 bolts here in the floor to remove the seat. The bolt that we need to get to is literally about dead center underneath the seat, and there's one on the other side. So we're gonna have to remove you basically have to remove the back seat. Unfortunately, it's the easiest way to do it, and since these are split up, it's probably not that bad, but 18mm socket. Remove this nut, this bolt here, the bolt here, and then you're going to slide this forward and remove the two in the front. Okay. Alright, so we got this seat out. For the other seat, slide the seat forward. We're using the lever on the side of it. So it slides forward, remove the two bolts in the back. Okay, there's two on each side. Then put the seat back, and then remove the front covers. On these, they have little pins that look like this. Don't break them. What you do is take a screwdriver and you push this down in the center, and that will come out, and then you can pop it out. So it'll look like that. Okay? If you break them, they're hard to find. Okay, get the seat out. And take this here, pull this up. Okay. Then your next bolt is right here. Okay, so you got to remove the grommet just like the back ones, and then pull the bolt out. And then there's the other one on the other side. If you ever have one of these stick on you on those pickup trucks, there's a trick to getting these out. I'll show you on this truck over here. So we've had a couple of these stick up and they start spinning inside of the frame here. What you can do is take a piece of 4x4 and stick it up underneath and basically push on it. So put your 4x4 underneath, put it on a floor jack, and jack it up and get it nice and tight, kind of like you're lifting up the truck a little bit with the mount, and then blast it out with the impact, and it'll stop it from spinning. So try that out. Also, if you need to soak it down, we prefer using this stuff. This is Magic in a Can, and it works really well for rusted bolts and stuck bolts. And that's see if I can get to focus. There you go. Visit that website. You can order it straight from them. Next, you're going to go to your gas tank, and you're going to remove these 3 bolts here. Okay. Next, we'll go to our front seat. It kind of helps if you slide these back. Remove this mat. Pull your carpet in the back here. Pull it forward to access this grommet. Okay. Remove that grommet, and then you can remove your other cab bolt. Make sure you repeat this step on the driver's side. Okay, so next, we got all the interior stuff done. Locate this on the lift to lift the whole Excursion up in the air. We're going to remove the coolant cap and the oil filter, and then we're going to lift this Excursion into the air. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and drain our water. And we need to disconnect. Let's see if I can get some light in here. This Excursion's really clean. So we're going to drain our oil and our water, and then I'll show you everything you need to disconnect on this thing. I think we need to. Alright, so this one doesn't have the lighted steps. This one just has regular steps. Usually there's a wire that crosses over on this beam right here, and it comes out and clips right where those two holes are, there'd be a connector right there. And if you have lights on your steps, that's where the connector is going to be. So you would have to disconnect the connector right here and then pull your steps off. But this truck, we don't have to pull the steps, so we're going to leave the steps alone. And it'll be on this side too. So where those two holes are right there, those two small little round holes, that's where your connector would be. So you can see those are the body mounts. There's your screw right there for your body mounts, and then those two tabs are those small little Torx bits that we took out. Or no, actually those are for the seat, sorry. So next, what I like to do is I like to walk the back of the truck and go forward. So this guy really takes care of his truck. So everything looks good here. We'll go forward. Now, let's see here. We're gonna make sure that there's no aftermarket wiring for like a camera or something like that going down the frame. Now, I know this guy put it up into his motor mount, which is right here. So there's this wire here. So we're gonna have to watch that. Now we're gonna disconnect the brake lines. There's 3 different types of brake line connections for the emergency brake. Okay, so I'll show you how we're gonna disconnect this, and you gotta make sure you disconnect your speed sensors. So it looks like he may have rerouted his speed sensors. He cut his fenders a lot. So that speed sensor right there needs to be disconnected. And I don't know where the one went on this side. We're gonna have to find it. Well, it's tucked up there. And he rerouted everything and tucked it up. So I'm gonna have to dig for that one and unplug that one. So usually they're down here on the mud flap area. So that needs to be disconnected as well. So let's go ahead and disconnect our emergency brake line. I'll show you how we do that. So make sure your parking brake isn't engaged, okay? So pull this down, and this will pull like that, and then put your vice grip in, and that'll hold that. So now you got some slack here. So there's 3 different types of these. There's ones with these prongs that pull out. There's other ones that have like a dot on the inside, and then there's one other one. So most of them on the Excursions will have these ones. So you just pull this tab out with a screwdriver, so it sticks out like that, okay? And then just slide it right on out, and let this hang. Now, on this here, let this go kind of slowly. Like that. And then you need to pull this out. Okay? And pull this wire through. Just like that. And then, like I said, his speed sensor on this truck is kind of tucked up here because he relocated it. So you need to find that and disconnect that. However he ran that. So it's gonna plug in up here underneath. So I'll have to get to that from probably the inside. And then we'll come on the other side here. This speed sensor here. Disconnect this one like that. Okay. Now you also have your ground strap right here, 8mm size socket. Put it on here, and we're just going to disconnect that. And then also we need to disconnect the transmission control here. So let me grab a screwdriver and we'll pop that off. I'll show you how we do that. Alright, so you just take a screwdriver here and just pop that off. Now with this, slides out of here. So there's 2 tabs on that, and you should be able to just slide that straight out here. I'll have to get up there with 2 hands and get on it. Time to spray. Put a little bit of magic spray in there, and then you can get in here. There we go. See? You just let it hang. Take your hose here. This might be a little bit messy. I'm gonna pull that off. Get that all out. Then you need to disconnect this line here, and you need to put a screwdriver in here and disconnect this so we can get these off. So these here, they just come off like that. I'm gonna take this one off here. And then since this is an 05, it has push lock connectors on those transmission lines. So we have a specialty tool for that. Okay, so this little plastic thing here, just put a screwdriver in. Right there. And that comes undone. Then we have these OTC tools here. This is a specialty tool that goes around this right here and it clicks. So then you push this in. And then you pull it. And this one might stick. The other one came off pretty easy. Let's see if we can pop these off. This one's gonna stick. Let me spray it down. Good. Alright, so once you get this out, let the oil drain out of it. This is a specialty tool. Wraps around. So it wraps around this first ring here and then goes in there. There you go. So now you remove the take this clamp here, slide it back, and you got to remove this hose from this clamp. The next thing you need to do is come back here and you need to remove the 2 bolts, that bolt right there and this bolt over here that holds this power steering cooler to the frame. So remove that, and we're just gonna let the power steering cooler just lay here. Alright, so now we go ahead and hook up the AC machine, and we're gonna start by letting it recover that. Now while that's recovering, we'll go ahead and go to the driver's side and get the driver's side taken care of. So we'll start by taking out the degas bottle, air filter, battery. So let's go ahead and get started on that. Take these off here. Disconnect this one. And the reason why we have to do that is because we're going to take this battery cable, take a 10 mil and get this nut loose, and then you're going to take this battery cable and get it off of here, unclip. You're going to unclip these on all three of those, and then we're going to take that and just fold everything up on top of the motor. Disconnect the battery hold down. And remove your battery. So on the air filters, I usually just pull these out with a back instead of disconnecting it. Disconnect your wire harness. Pull this back right here, and this should come right on out. Always take these out as one piece instead of disconnecting the clips. Makes it a lot easier. Now we'll go ahead and remove our degas bottle. Now, once you get your degas bottle out, you need to take this hose right here and separate it. So this hose clamp needs to slide back, and you need to disconnect the heater hose. Okay, so then we're going to take these two bolts right here and these two bolts here and remove those and pull out the battery tray. Okay. Now we will remove our driver's side boost tube, CAC tube, 7/16 socket on this bottom clamp, and on the top one you can either disconnect the 7/16 and pop it off. When you put this back on, you're going to need to heat this up, so you can dip it in hot water, like boiling hot water, or you can undo the 8mm screws that hold this on. But since the fan's still on here and I want to keep this connector on here because it has the bolt, it's not broken here, so I'm going to disconnect this boost tube and take the boost tube off. I'm going to leave the intake manifold part on. 7/16. Yep. It looks like it's brand new. Someone must have broke the last one. Top one. Okay. So up here in the Pacific Northwest, it's kind of cold. It is 60 degrees in the shop, but on these plastic boost tubes, if they don't want to come off real easy, you can heat them up with a heat gun, and then take your pry bar and stick it through that hole right there, and kind of work it once it gets a little warm. Okay, next, you got your 3 brake lines right here. You take a wrench and remove this one, and this one. Leave these ones alone. So once you get these disconnected, you're going to fold these right over here. Okay, so you put this wire harness here. Okay, so on the transmission or power steering fluid, you have this little tab here. If you can get this in the center, usually, I don't know if a screwdriver is, sometimes they don't really come loose that easy, but I just take a screwdriver in here. And pop these up. Let me try Phillips real quick. Once you remove this pin, this whole thing right here will slide off, just like that. Too bad we got wires in our way. They're not supposed to be here. I don't know what the hell they go to. Aftermarket wiring. You take this and disconnect this hose here. Pliers. This is gonna be a hard one. Okay. And we plug this off so it doesn't leak anymore. Okay, on this side there's a wire loom that comes up. There's 2 of them. So this wire here and this one here has to come undone. And then this has the 4-wheel drive thing. So you can take this pin, slide this off, and then you need to disconnect this gray one here. Not all trucks have these. This is just specific to this one. If it's a 2-wheel drive Excursion, it won't have this. So you can take these and pull them down. Get them on the other side of the steering arm here. If you can get them to the floor, that works too. So if you can tuck them like down underneath the exhaust manifold, for now, that works fine. And then you have this other one here, which is this guy here, and this gray one, which has got the plug on the other side, the pin. There we go. So this, again, I just fold it down and tuck it under the exhaust manifold so it's out of the way. Now, this can stay. This, I take this and pull this up. This is for the air filter. This will stay up here. Okay.
And then that speed sensor that didn't get unplugged. The guy tucked it right up here. That needs to come undone and get pulled down. So that will stay down there as well. You won't always find a speed sensor up here, so on this particular one, the guy put it all the way up here because he lifted it and just got it out of the way. So next, you take this cone, pull this off, and you slide that all the way up there. Then you have a 13mm bolt right here, and just gonna remove this bolt. Make sure that the key is out of the ignition so the steering wheel locks. So we'll remove that, and then the whole shaft will be slid right up. All right. Once you get that undone, you take your pry bar in here and you just push this up. Okay. And this should slide right on out like that. And then you can just slide this up as far as you can get it. All the way up there. Okay, now next, you can you have two options. One, you can remove this one right here for their power steering line, or you can remove both of these up on top. It doesn't really matter. I think on this one, we'll probably remove this one. Looks like it's been replaced recently, so we'll probably just remove these ones up here on top, and this one looks like it was leaking or something, so anyways, we'll remove these ones up here and get this taken care of. So we'll get these off and fold them over. Alright, so on the driver's side, you need to get 8mm and remove this ground wire right here on the wall. Okay. We're just going to put this bolt back in here just so we don't lose it. Okay. Pull this over. Take a 7/16 or 11mm. And remove this clamp. And that one. Pull these out. And then loosen this hose clamp right here underneath. And you also need to take your 8mm over here. Get in here. Remove that 8mm there. Okay, we're gonna have to pull that one back. Take this hose, disconnect the said hose, and just put it in here. It's a good storage spot for it. You need to take your 8mm, disconnect hose clamp there. Okay. Take that off. Alright, remove your mass airflow sensor tube, and I just tuck it over here. And then your ground strap wire that is screwed over here, it actually comes out right here, goes to the back of the head. So you need to make sure that this gets laid in here and just laid in the engine. This has to go on the other side of this, because this is going to go up. So make sure that that's clear to go up with the truck. This ground, or this power strap here, needs to get untangled here. Since I'm going to leave the water filtration kit on, I'll make sure that this goes up underneath, because the filter kit's going to go up with the truck. So that can go down there. We'll tuck the ground in here behind the fan shroud, and we're also going to take your starter wire off right here. Okay, loop this through, and then this stays with the power cable as well on this side. So just gonna tuck this up underneath. Okay, now next we need to disconnect this line here and the line that's on the top of the AC condenser. So I already evacuated the system out. So just take the nut off and only pull the top one off. Don't pull the bottom one off. Okay. And then there's a plastic clip usually on these that hold it together. This one doesn't have it apparently. Oh yeah, it does. It's right there. So you gotta remove this plastic clip so you can separate them. And then we'll come over to up here. I always disconnect the one down below or on the AC condenser first before I do this one. Sometimes when there's a vacuum on it, you'll get oil up in your face. So kind of like that. See the oil that's coming out a little bit, and then this one here. So it didn't suck all the oil out because I didn't vacuum it, but the evac it got out what I needed to get out. So pull these apart. Okay. Put this up under the hose, and then this needs to be, we're gonna bungee cord that over. Okay. Okay, so now we got that plastic off. Pull this one through here. Make sure it goes up underneath that line. And then this goes right here, just like that. And then this one has to come up here as well. So we'll watch. I'll get a bungee cord on this and we're gonna strap this over. And this one is gonna stay up there. And then, so that's pretty much it to remove from the top. That's all you got to remove there. So we'll go ahead and get our tools off of here. Make sure that this brake line right here stays on the inside as well. And then another thing is, if they have fog lights in the bumper, so this one has four-wheel drive, or lights on the bottom here. So you need to disconnect this harness here on the bottom, like that. And then that will stay. This will go. So this will go up with the truck. Now, the last two mounting bolts for the cab are right there, okay? So there's one on each side. Just take a socket and get those off, and this cab will be ready to remove. Alright, one final thing. Vacuum line. Make sure that this gets unplugged right here. this out. And then you're just gonna tuck this up in here. So this will stay with the truck. These are only on 4-wheel drive vehicles that have vacuum locking hubs. So it could just stay up here. So everything else is ready to go. We got the nuts removed for the front cab bolts. So those are out of there and the cab's ready to come up. So we're gonna position the lift on the cab and we're gonna lift it up just a little bit. And we have to also remove the wire connector on the rear of the vehicle. So I'll show you. I usually just lift this cab up about a few inches and it gives you access to get your hand in behind the license plate on the top instead of having to take the license plate off. Okay, we're only up about a couple inches here. We're gonna go up a little bit. One thing I wanna note is make sure that your gas cap, your gas thing doesn't catch. Okay, so it's still movable in here. Back's not up yet because there's still a little weight on the springs, but we're gonna let it come up a little more so we can get some clearance. So just watch the front for now. Go ahead and come up. Whoa, whoa. Okay, on the front of these, there's sometimes a little plastic piece right there, and it has like a snap to it. You can't get to it. So basically, you can see it right there, okay? That thing right there. So you're just gonna wait till it comes up to get some room in there and then you can pry it out. Okay. So we're clear there. Clear there. Let me get a flashlight and check underneath the rest of the Excursion here. So that harness going down right there, that's the one I'm after. I'm not up high enough. If you take the license plate off, you can get to it too, but I just come up a little more and I can get my hand in here and disconnect it. So there's a lot of play on that, so you don't really have to worry about that. Just don't come up at least, you know, don't come up a foot. And the gas tank thing, that just falls down. So keep on coming up, checking the frame, make sure that there's nothing connected here. Everything is looking good. So we'll go ahead and keep going up on that. Check this side. Make sure there's nothing connected here. Everything looks good. Okay, go ahead and come up a little more. Okay, stop. Okay, so I think there's enough play on the back now. There might be. To get my hand in here and disconnect this one. See, there's a lot of slack in here. So all I have to do is just come down, reach in here. Okay, there's the connector. So you just go ahead and pop this apart. Okay. There you go. Okay. So now you know you're free in the back. There's no other, we disconnected the backup camera. Here's the backup camera wire. So this is going up with it. Okay. So that's gonna just dangle there. Everything else is free. Everything else is free there. Okay. We're gonna keep on going up. Check it inside the hood here. Make sure we're free here in the front. Okay, so this is just gonna lay here. This is the power steering, or the power steering cooler I was telling you about. So that'll just lay here while the rest of the stuff goes up here. There's that little connector I was telling you about. It just goes into the side. And I'm not really worried about it if it, you know, it just bends and it breaks. Most of the times they're not even connected. Everything else looks clean here. Okay, going up. hold up. Make sure that this wire is not in there. Okay. So all these wires look good. Okay. Nice and clean on this side. Back hose is disconnected. Nothing's grabbing on this. Okay, keep going up. Hold up. And like I said, the power steering cooler just falls down. Don't need to worry about that. And make sure those lines aren't hitting anything. So here's the other wire for the backup camera that I disconnected here. He ran it through the bottom, so I'll just make sure that's all disconnected and nothing's touching on that. There's no other wires that are surprising me out of the bottom of this Excursion. Sometimes aftermarket stereos, who knows, will get in your way. Just double check on that. Keep going up. Keep going. Okay, hold up. Okay. So this flap right here is catching onto these here. So I'm just gonna push this out like that. And we could attach this up here if we wanted to. And put it back in. So, all right, go ahead. Everything. Okay, and we're up in the air, and there you go. So, like I said, you can leave the steps on if they're these style steps. If they're the ones with the lights on them, you have to take them off. But otherwise, we're all good to go here. And now you can see everything that we disconnected. Your ground, the vacuum line I told you about, the ground cable in the back. So now we can just take everything and just fold it off of the engine and do our job. So this one needs a little bit more work than just head studs. It has a front main seal leak and stuff, so I figured might as well just pull the cab on it and just do everything while I got everything off of it, make it easier. So anyways, there's a cab pull on Excursion. If you have any questions and like to leave a comment, feel free to, and subscribe. Thank you.